Ripa has been hosting Live for over 20 years. Her real-life husband, Mark Consuelos, joined her as co-host after Ryan Seacrest left. She opened up about pressure to quit the talk show. Keep reading for all the details about the shocking situation. Ripa and Mark Consuelos sneak into daughter's singing debut. Ripa's love story with her husband is well known. The two met while starring on the ABC soap All My Children in the 1990s. They eloped to Las Vegas, Nevada, after a year of dating. The couple went on to welcome 3 children: Michael, 28, Lola, 24, and Joaquin, 22. Their daughter, Lola, moved to London, England, a few years ago after falling in love with the city during a semester abroad. She's pursuing a music career. Mark Consuelos and Ripa's daughter recently made her debut singing performance ahead of the release of her first EP, and she specifically banned her famous parents from attending. Ripa and Mark Consuelos told live viewers all about it earlier this week. She was so nervous leading up to this thing, and we wanted to go, but we didn't want to add any more pressure by us being there, Mark said. He added, "Told us not to go, so we thought we would sneak into London and just kind of be on the side, somewhere in the crowd. And the first part of the caper is we went and bought hats." He compared the hats to those worn in the drama Peaky Blinders. The couple did sneak into the performance, but their daughter quickly spotted them in the small room.
Hello.
Magazine captured Lola embracing her parents. Ripa facing pressure to quit live. Ripa told viewers that her daughter did so good in her first performance. Now that their 3 kids are out of the house and starting their adult lives, Ripa and Mark Consuelos are enjoying their time together. However, their daughter wants them to quit Live and move overseas with her. "Lola is always trying to get us to move to London, as if we don't work in New York. She'll leave us these subtle hints when she's home, when there is something on sale in London," Ripa shared on the daytime talk show. She said that her daughter wants them to buy a castle. The live host joked that her daughter thinks her parents are richer than they are. "What I love the way she thinks of us as Bezoses," Ripa quipped, referring to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his wife, Lauren Sanchez Bezos. While her daughter is pressuring her to quit Live and move to London, Ripa is happy where she is, at least for now. Ripa's 2-decade reign on Live, a family at a crossroads, and the quiet pressure to walk away. For more than 2 decades, Ripa has been a constant presence in American living rooms. Every weekday morning, viewers tune in to Live not just for celebrity interviews or lifestyle tips, but for the familiar comfort of Ripa's quick wit, candid honesty, and unmistakable laugh. Through changing co-hosts, evolving formats, and a shifting media landscape, Ripa has remained the steady heartbeat of the show. But behind the bright studio lights and cheerful banter lies a more complicated reality, one shaped by motherhood, marriage, personal growth, and an unexpected push from the very people she loves most. As Ripa enters a new era of Live alongside her real-life husband, Mark Consuelos, she finds herself at a crossroads. The show has been part of her identity for over 20 years. Yet her children are grown, her life looks dramatically different than it once did, and a quiet question lingers in the background. How long can and should this chapter last? Long before Ripa became a daytime television icon, she was a young actress working on the ABC soap opera All My Children. It was there, in the mid-1990s, that she met Mark Consuelos, her future husband and now her co-host. Their chemistry was immediate, both on-screen and off. In a move that would later become part of television lore, the couple eloped to Las Vegas after just 1 year of dating. There were no elaborate plans, no media frenzy, just two people certain they had found something real. Over the years, their relationship would become one of Hollywood's most admired marriages. Together, Kelly and Mark welcomed 3 children: Michael, now 28, Lola, 24, and Joaquin, 22. While Kelly's career soared, she often spoke openly about the balancing act of working full-time while raising a family. For much of that time, Live wasn't just her job, it was the schedule around which everything else revolved. When Ryan Seacrest announced his departure from Live, speculation ran wild about who would replace him. The answer, in hindsight, felt almost inevitable. Mark Consuelos stepped into the role, transforming the show into a truly family-centered production. For viewers, it was a seamless transition. Kelly and Mark's dynamic was natural, playful, and deeply familiar. They bickered affectionately, teased each other openly, and shared stories that only a married couple of nearly 3 decades could tell. Behind the scenes, though, the change was more significant than it appeared. Hosting alongside her husband blurred the line between work and personal life in ways Kelly had never experienced before. It also forced her to confront something she had rarely allowed herself to consider. What comes next? For years, Kelly Ripa juggled early call times, school drop-offs, and late-night rehearsals. Her children grew up knowing the rhythms of television production, the controlled chaos of backstage life, and the importance of showing up, even when you're tired. Now, all 3 of her children are grown. Michael has forged his own path. Joaquin has pursued his passions. And Lola, their only daughter, has charted a course that surprised even her famously independent parents. Lola Consuelos fell in love with London during a semester abroad. What began as a temporary stay quickly became something more permanent. She was drawn to the city's music scene, its creative energy, and the freedom it offered. Music had always been part of Lola's life, but in London, it became her focus. She began writing, recording, and performing, quietly building confidence in a city far from her parents' influence. Eventually, she decided to stay. For Kelly and Mark, watching their daughter move overseas was both exhilarating and difficult. They supported her dreams wholeheartedly, but the distance was undeniable. Time zones replaced quick phone calls. Visits required planning, and moments that once felt effortless became precious and rare. Still, Lola thrived. When Lola prepared for her first official singing performance ahead of her debut EP, nerves set in. This wasn't a casual open mic, it was a meaningful milestone in her career. And despite her close relationship with her parents, she made one firm request. They were not allowed to attend. She was so nervous leading up to this thing, Mark later explained on Live. And we wanted to go, but we didn't want to add any more pressure by us being there. Lola didn't want to be introduced as Kelly Ripa's daughter. She wanted to be judged on her own merit. Kelly and Mark understood, at least in theory. Unable to resist, the couple hatched a plan. If they couldn't attend openly, they would attend quietly. They flew to London in secret. They bought hats, dramatic, vintage-inspired hats that Mark jokingly compared to something out of Peaky Blinders. The idea was simple: blend into the crowd, stay unnoticed, and slip out without disrupting their daughter's moment. For a brief moment it worked, but the venue was small. The crowd was intimate, and Lola, scanning the room before her performance, spotted 2 familiar faces trying far too hard to look anonymous. Hello. Magazine later captured the moment Lola embraced her parents, a mix of surprise, affection, and disbelief written across her face. Any frustration melted away replaced by pride and relief. Despite her nerves, Lola's debut was a success. "She did so good," Kelly told viewers, her voice filled with unmistakable pride. With their children launched into adulthood, Kelly and Mark have entered a phase of life that feels unfamiliar and oddly quiet. There are no school schedules to manage, no college applications to review, no curfews to negotiate. Instead, there's time. Time to travel. Time to reconnect. Time to imagine a life that isn't structured entirely around work and parenting. It's during this transition that Lola began dropping hints, persistent, playful hints, that her parents should consider a dramatic change. "She's always trying to get us to move to London," Kelly shared on Live. "As if we don't work in New York." When Lola visits home, she points out real estate listings. She mentions sales in London. She casually references castles, as if purchasing one would be no more complicated than buying a sofa. Kelly jokes that her daughter believes they're far wealthier than they actually are.